Hello guys, welcome to my astrology side to this channel. My name is Jupiter James, where I do what I want, when I want, how I want. So today we're gonna get into the first house of astrology. In the first house of astrology, we're gonna go through all 12 signs. The first house also doubles as the ascendant. The ascendant is the energy of what you exude to the world, and so is the first house. The first house is the first thing that someone sees of you. It's their first impression of you. Like if someone were to see you out at a party or a club, the energy you exude, the shell that you are in, is what the ascendant slash first house would be. So I like to think of the first house slash ascendant as like the car you're driving, right? Like the car, we all drive different cars, and depending on the car that you drive, it will gain you access or prohibit you or give you certain privileges or certain advantages that other people's cars may or may not have. So say someone is driving a Rolls Royce versus a Toyota. The energy that that Rolls Royce is gonna give the world around them is going to give off a different energy and gain different access to someone who is in a Toyota. So that is the first house. Your first house is the shell, the aura, the first impression, the metaphorical car that you are driving, which is our outside aesthetic, outside shell, outside energy and aura. Now let's go through the houses. So if we start with the first sign of the zodiac, which is Aries, Aries ascendants slash people with Aries in the first house. And by the way, this is all whole sign astrology. This is all whole sign. Now I'll get into Placidus and other types of configurations within the chart, but we're gonna go with, if you are looking at a whole sign chart, Aries in the first house. Aries people will always come off as a leader, very brash, very aggressive, very pioneering. They will come off strong. Aries is the sign of war, and it's fire. It's a fire sign. So it'll come off warlike, aggressive, a go-getter, but in the sense of they are an individual, and whatever they see, they'll go get, they'll charge into a room. They come in very fire. I like to call it, honestly, baby fire. Like Aries is baby fire because it is the first manifestation of fire that a soul must go through when it comes into the fire element. So whenever the universe says, okay, it's time for the soul to learn fire, it gives it Aries. Aries is the first inkling of fire that a soul must learn how to navigate with. And that's why it almost comes off a little childish, or it may come off too harsh and too brash, because that baby soul that is acquiring fire for the first time doesn't really know how to assert itself without burning a few people in the process, like innocently. And hey, stop it. You guys, why does my cat like to bother things the minute I start talking? I think my cat is an attention whore. Stop. Okay, so yeah, that's why Aries comes off a little strong, a little aggressive, a little childish when it is exuding or exerting itself in the public sphere or with other people. It doesn't really know how to handle that new fire that it has been given the privilege to attain. So yeah, that's Aries in the first house. Aries in the first house will always come off as strong, an individual, someone who is asserting themselves, confident, a little childish, a little brash, a little harsh, but it's because it's their first time navigating that. Now, first house, Aries in the first house means that aesthetically, this person will probably dress very provocatively. They'll dress in red. They'll usually come off as the bad boy. They'll usually pick very bold and striking colors or striking patterns within their dress or how they style themselves. So if you see someone out on the scene who looks like a bad boy or is very bold, very you know, just here I am, it is what it is. They're most likely in Aries or has a lot of Aries placements or just exuding the energy of Aries. Yeah, okay, so moving on to Taurus. Taurus is a sign of stability. It is a sign of money. It is a sign of creature comforts and quality. Like whenever I'm talking to a Taurus or giving a Taurus a reading, I always caution them that when I bring up the topic of money and they like the best things, they always go, wait, but I'm not materialistic. And this is true, they are not materialistic, but they do value materials, not for the sake of having materials, but because they are a grounded earthy sign. This is anything tangible of good quality and that is luxurious and like money and high quality is what Tauruses need in order to feel grounded on the planet, because they are an earthy sign. Again, this is yet another sign in the zodiac that when a soul is given the first inkling of what earthly energy is, the soul goes through Taurus first, because Taurus is the first sign of what earthly tangible possessions mean to be in a 3D reality. So the first thing that a baby earthly sign needs to acquire or to focus on is what? Materials. It's the earth. It's okay, I need this to feel good. I need that to feel better. I need this to feel safe. I need that to feel comfortable. And it just so happens that in that need to manipulate and feel like a Taurus, they acquire a lot of possessions and they happen to like materials and they happen to like the best things. So that's Taurus. Taurus is a sign of material possessions, possession, anything tangible they need, they love. So they're very good with like banking and money and practicality. They're very slow to move. They love the finest of wines, the finest of steaks. Like they're someone who is very dependable and stable because they have their ground, they have their feet on the ground. They know what they need to do in order to get tangible materials to them. And once they acquire those things, they hold on to them. And that is also why they are very comfortable. I have a thing for Tauruses, but they always break my heart. I don't know why it is. I don't know. Can anyone tell me why? But anyway, yes. So that's Taurus in the first house. So if you ever see a Taurus, Taurus is also ruled by the sign of Venus. So they also come off very, this is the Venus energy of like gluttony, if that makes sense. Like, you know how they say the stories of like Venus, how yes, she's beautiful, she rules the sign of beauty, and Tauruses are known to be beautiful and rule the beauty industry and models and music and stuff like that. But have you ever heard those mythological stories of how Venus loved like cookies and cakes and like just loved like they loved, I don't want to say greedy, does that make sense? Like she loved like to be greedy and just like she liked things like. So this Taurus baby earthly sign that is ruled by Venus is going to err on the side of just loving the best of the best to make itself as comfortable as possible, because they are learning the sign of, oh no, my light. Sorry y'all, my light went out, but I got it back. Okay, so yeah, Taurus is ruled by Venus, and it errs on the side of, subjectively, it looks very materialistic or all about money, but it is because, again, it is the first time a soul is learning how to navigate the earthly energies it needs to navigate, which just so happens to be, how do I make myself the most comfortable? How do I make myself safe? And what is mine and what do I possess? And so when a Taurus dresses, they will usually dress very comfortably. Like they'll dress very down to earth, very Venusian in the sense of very soft and tactile. Like they probably love textures and like corduroy and like really big sweaters, or just something very elegant. Like they rule the sign of elegance and like luxury. So it's very soft, it's very subtle. I say that like with Taurus, it's kind of hard to see something that is Taurus on a person, like unless they, like I feel like unless you're adept at it, you'll see it, but like they don't have a set like style, if that makes sense. Like actually, if you've ever seen Euphoria, what's her name? The main character, whoever Zendaya's main character is, that's Taurus. It's like, it's comfortable. It's not for style's purpose. It's just for comfort's purpose. And like, but at the same time, say they were supposed to go out at night or something, they'd look very elegant. Like they'd look very luxurious. So yeah. Okay, so moving on to Gemini. Gemini ascendant / Gemini in the first house would be someone who, if you looked over at them at a party, they'd be that person whizzing around or chatting. Like they're just chatting. They're going here, they know that person's secrets, that person's secrets, that person's secrets. They know, you may mistake them to be like a Leo, but Leos are more just like, here I am, I don't need to talk and I still get the attention. Whereas Geminis get attention by being the loudest one in the room as far as like what they are communicating with. So whenever you see a Gemini, if you were to see a Gemini, it's not based on what they wear, it's more on what they are saying. Like if you saw someone in a party, they'd usually be the ones who are communicating and very loudly, and or they're just the ones that are like passing information around. That's a Gemini ascendant. So and with the Gemini, I wouldn't say that they have a specific style of dress. It's just more like they are the ones who are always talking, you know, they're just always talking. They love to chat. Whenever they're in a room, they can't help but to chat. Like they're probably the ones that like, oh my God, they're known as the friend who just talks too much. Like whenever you're on the phone and you're talking about your friend, if they're a Gemini ascendant, more times than not, they'll be the friend that's like, oh my God, she talks too much or he talks too much. Like, or is known for his speech or known to always be telling a story or something like that. That's a Gemini ascendant. So whenever Gemini is in the first house, they will be someone who is always passing information back and forth and who can't help but to talk or be talking at the party or talking at all times. And yeah, that's, and they're also ruled by the sign of Mercury. So it's almost like having Mercury in the first house. So whenever you see Mercury in the first house and or Gemini ruling the first house / ascendant, just know this person is known for or always seen as someone who is communicating and passing and relaying information from one person to another. So moving on to Cancer. Cancer is the first sign in the zodiac, and they are known to be it's ruled by the moon, and so they are known to be a very nurturing and mothering sign. Yeah, very nurturing, very mothering, very caring. You can't, again, I'd say this is a sign that doesn't have a specific style. I'd say that this sign more so has an aura, like an energy about them that is very calming presence. Someone who, you know, whenever they're around, for some reason you just feel calm, you feel safe, you feel understood, you feel like if anything were to go wrong, they'd be able to take care of it because they have a very mothering and nurturing energy about them. And you also feel around them that you're kind of like safe to be yourself, if that makes sense. So without judgment, that like a mother would. Like if you're around a mother, a good mom, you will feel at home. That's a good one. Like Cancer ascendants make you feel like you're their best friend, that you've known them forever. You feel at home with them. It's a very comforting sign. So whenever you see moon in the first house / Cancer on the ascendant, this person is going to have a very nurturing, calming, healing effect and healing aura in their auric field and in their energy, if that makes sense. Yeah. So Leo is the 5th sign, and Leo is now the 2nd graduation from Aries. Remember, we talked about Aries in the 1st house, Aries is the first modality, the first inkling of, like, the first level of fire, right? Aries is the first level of fire, and Leo is the 2nd level of fire. And Leo is going to be like teenage fire. Teenage fire is what? Think about it. A teenager is like, it's all about me. It's a little selfish. It's like, I'm the star of the show. I'm 16. I want a super sweet 16, and I want it on MTV, and I want everyone to want to come to my party, but you can't. But only the cool people can come because it's all about me. And that's Leo. That's teenage fire. Okay, so and like Leo is all about pride. It's all about like the center of attention. Like, it's all about being in the spotlight and having a big heart and being, you know, a lion in the pack, if that makes sense. So not a lion in the pack, like a lion that is leading the pack, if that makes sense. Like a lion leads the pack. They're the king of the jungle. They're the queen of the jungle, so to speak. But anyone with Leo in the 1st house, they are going to be someone who, whether they are trying or not, they will get the attention. They will have the sun on them, because basically when sun is in the 1st house, what does that mean? The sun, the spotlight is on their physicality. It's on them. So whether they want it or not, whether they're trying or not, they're going to be someone who all the other signs will look to, because the sign is shining on them. And it can be for a number of reasons. It could be because they're loud. It could be because their style is amazing. It could be because they're a celebrity. It could be for a number of reasons as to why the universe will make the sun be on them, but the spotlight will be on them more times than not if Leo or the sun is in the 1st house. This also makes for a very strong ego, a strong sense of self, a strong presence, because they know who they are. They feel at home in their bodies, and they aren't afraid to kind of show it or express it if need be. But more times than not, I feel like Leo ascendants are people who the spotlight is on them, whether they want it or not. Like, and a lot of the Leo ascendants that I've met, they kind of don't want the spotlight, but it just is what it is, right? Like, it is what it is. They're gonna get the attention, whether they want to or not, whether they are in sweats and slippers, they get the attention. So yeah, moving on to Virgo. Virgo is the 2nd level of Mercurian energy, of Mercury energy. It is the 2nd air sign, and it is, I hope that's right. I hope that's right. If it's not right, please forgive me, but I believe it is the 2nd air sign. Gemini is ruled by air. Yes, it is. Gemini is ruled by air. Is the 2nd level of air. So again, this is teenage air. We've already did baby air with, sorry. We did baby air with Gemini, and this is the 2nd level of, I'm blanking out, you guys. I'm so sorry. But anyway, this is the 2nd modality of air and Mercurian energy. This is Virgo. Virgo is the sign of service. It's the sign of, it rules day-to-day schedules and routines. They say it has a healing effect, but in the sense of like, hey, let me serve you. So a Virgo ascendant, if Virgo is in the 1st house, this person will be someone who is very data driven, very analytical, very by the book. They're all about facts. They like to be behind the scenes tinkering on things to help someone else be great. So they are the technicians, they're the IT people, they're the support people that you call when your phone breaks down and they're like, hey, what's the problem? Okay, let me take over your screen and let me show you how to. That's Virgo energy. They are the signs or the people who are usually seen in the world that are of service to others, but more in a practical, like data-driven sense. Like they're always cleaning up. They're the service. They love service. They love to serve and they love to clean and they love to fix. They love to turn organized. No, they love to turn chaos into order. So that is a Virgo ascendant. So I'd say with Virgo ascendants, it's really, again, they don't have a specific style. Like if you were to see them at a party, you really wouldn't know until you speak to them, because again, Mercury and energy isn't a physicality, it's more of a mentality, literally. Like anyone ruled by a Mercury planet is gonna be in the speech. So like a Gemini ascendant, they don't have a style. You'll just know who they are by when they're speaking. Same with Virgo, you won't know that they're a Virgo ascendant until you get around them and they start to tell you, oh, like, you like your margaritas with 2 limes? Let's try 3 limes and stir it up and shake it, and maybe you'll find that that's a better solution for you. Like they are that type of person where they see something and they go, oh, that's wrong, let me fix it. Oh, you're not doing that right, let me fix it. And it's not to talk down on you or belittle you, it's more just to help you experience what you're experiencing better. Like they are really truly the people that want to just help. They are of service. They want to make your life better. They want to make the situation better, and in a practical sense. So, and in like like if you gave Virgo risings are more of like the personal assistants. They are the people who are behind people doing the thing, and they want to help the thing get done, and they don't really care about having the spotlight or being in front. They more so care about being in the back and helping. They want to assist, they want to take care of, they want to crunch numbers in effort to help. So yeah, that's Virgo ascendant. Libra ascendant, Libra ascendants, they are they are ruled by Venus. So this is like having Venus in the first house, and this is also a sign of beauty. It's a sign of fairness, of justice, of keeping the peace. So remember with the other Venus rule sign, which was what, Taurus? And I said that this Venus modality would err on the sign, on the side of like gluttony and like eating all the cookies and the cakes and stuff like that. This Venus modality, when it's ruled by Libra, it's gonna be more of the harmonious expression of Venus, which is fairness and justice and keeping the peace and making things peaceful. Like if a Libra ascendant sees someone getting 3 blocks of cheese, they're gonna more so than not make sure their other friend gets 3 blocks of cheese. Or if they see 2 friends arguing, they're gonna be Switzerland, and they're gonna be the people in the room or in the situation who is saying, actually, I understand what you're saying and I understand what you're saying, but this is how we can make the situation better. So they're also known to be very beautiful because they are, again, they're ruled by Venus. So Venus in their expression, you guys, I'm so sorry if you hear horns out. I live in New York City. But yeah, they're the people who are beautiful. They love aesthetics. They love, they love makeup, and they love all the things that Venus loves, but they're gonna exude it more so. Like this is like teenage Venus. This is teenage Venus. Do you see how like each sign, as we go through the signs, how they build on top of not only the element, but they also build on the energy of the planets. So like, it's like Aries through I think you understand what I mean. Yeah, you understand. But yeah, anyway, Libras are known to be very beautiful, very aesthetic. I want you to think of Kim Kardashian. I want you to think of someone who, when you look over at them, they just have a Venusian Marilyn Monroe quality to them that's very just like breathtaking, beautiful, soft, elegant, and very peaceful at the same time. They're very, very peaceful people, and they seek to keep the peace. If you try to argue with a Libra, it's not gonna happen. Like they're not gonna argue with you. They're gonna be the person that is going, their aim is to come to a resolve. Like they are never someone who is causing the problems, although they attract a lot of problems, but that's why they exist. They attract a lot of problems, but it is because as a Libra ascendant, they are meant to squash the problems and find a way to take the problems and make it peaceful. Take the situation and turn it into a solution. So that is a Libra ascendant. Beautiful, ruled by Venus, always keeps the peace, seeks to be peaceful, seeks to be beautiful, loves aesthetics. All right, so the next sign is gonna be Scorpio. Scorpio is a very deep, dark, mysterious sign. And it is not deep, dark, and mysterious for the sake of being deep, dark, and mysterious. They are deep, dark, and mysterious because in their lives, being ruled by the sign of Pluto and Mars, they have been met with a lot of aggression. They have been met with a lot of situations in their lives that have prevented them from expressing fully who they are, whether it be due to betrayal, power, manipulation. They have had these things inflicted on them. And so it has made them in turn to protect themselves and to be a little bit cautious, right? That them being cautious makes them mysterious, if that makes sense. By them being cautious around what's around the corner, the wall or energy that they exude will be of mysteriousness because they don't let all their cards show because of past energy that they've attracted, which is, you know, chicken or the egg, which came first? Was it because they are ruled by Pluto and Mars that they attract Pluto and Mars situations, or is it that Pluto and Mars situations have been given to them and so now they put on a persona of protection and fighting fire with fire? They're fighting Pluto with Pluto and Mars, if that makes sense. So they are a very deep, dark sign. They are someone who has probably gone through a lot in life, and so it has made them very mysterious. It has made them very deep. They are very deep thinkers. They're very, they can be a little manipulating, but if you, I'd say if you ever saw a Scorpio ascendant or someone with Pluto in the first house, they would be someone who is drinking a drink in the corner with all black on, like Wednesday Addams, and they're smoking a cigarette, observing the scene. But they're hot, they're sexy, they're exuding sex. So I want you to think of like Edward Cullen. I want you to think of like Wednesday Addams, like those figures of just like, there's something going on. They're the brooding type. But they're hot at the same time because they're so brooding and like mysterious. That's Scorpio ascendant. Very sexy, very mysterious, has a lot of power, you know, but it's like understated power. It's like, I love a Scorpio ascendant. Hit my DMs if you're a Scorpio ascendant, please. But anyway, so let's get to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So if Sagittarius is in the first house, this means that this person is ruled by Jupiter. And so they are going to have a very cheery disposition, a very hopeful, optimistic disposition in their mind behind the scenes. They probably have a very strong build. They probably have very strong thighs. They are probably in the athletic field or values athleticism. Or they are probably someone who looks like a professor or very philosophical. They probably have a book in their hand. Or they're probably a trainer or a teacher or someone in the athletic field or a professor, because Sagittarius is a sign of truth, physical fitness, philosophy, and teaching, and travel. So if you could wrap all that up in an aesthetic package, it would probably be someone who is seen as someone in the world who is training someone, traveling on a plane. Like when you look at their Instagram, you just see them traveling. Like nothing from their hometown. You don't know where they're from, but you just know where they're going and where they've been. And it's them around the world. They're on a plane, they're jet setting, they're on to the next. Like that is Sagittarius, always traveling. They travel more than anyone. Like if you're trying to compete with a Sagittarius of traveling, forget it. They are more well-traveled than you. They have been everywhere in the world. They know the best places to go, and they probably know some locals in some very indigenous places in the world that you wouldn't even think of. Like they are the Tomb Raiders of the zodiac, if that makes sense. So if you think of Tomb Raider, right? Tomb Raider was, the action figure, Lara Croft, who would always be trying to go to different cultures, different lands, not just to go for the tourist aspect, but for the knowledge and the secrets and like the culture. They are the Tomb Raiders of the zodiac. So that's Sagittarius. And and notice how Tomb Raider was all those things wrapped into one. She was philosophical, she was strong and brave and courageous, she was optimistic, like there was no mountain she could not climb. She was always traveling, she was very strong, very fit. You couldn't tell her no, right? Like that's literally Sagittarius is Tomb Raider. So if you see like a Tomb Raider type figure, that is ruled by Sagittarius. I love that. I'm gonna keep up with these like TV characters because I feel like this is the best way that we can see these archetypes played out in the world that we can like resonate with. Okay, so moving on. Capricorn is the 10th sign of the zodiac. So I want you to think of Capricorn is known to be a very success-driven earthly sign. It is a sign that is ruled by Saturn, so it is like the most condensed earth sign. It's all about, and condensed earth means like success. It's like crystallized success, like the pinnacle. It's ruled by the goat. The goat is climbing the mountain, right? A mountain goat climbs the top of the mountain. It sees the goal and it goes gets it. Capricorns are known to always be in the highest of heights, the apex, the mountain. They're in the highest heights of society. They're at the VIP tables in the club. They're the CEOs. They're the executives. They're the people running the show. They're in the boardroom. They are the generals. They're at the apex of whatever profession they're in. They're usually at the apex of it. So a Capricorn is known to be very successful, very traditional, very, I don't want to say by the book, but they're very traditional, and they more times than not are very, so a Capricorn ascendant, if Capricorn is in the first house and they're ruled by Saturn, they might have very sunken in cheeks. They may be very skinny. They may be, and if they don't carry those traits, they carry the actual like physical world traits of like being a CEO or being very rich. They're in the 1% of society. They are the 1% of society. They are very rich. They're in rich, luxurious spaces. That is Capricorn first house. So if you see Capricorn in the first house, they're usually that person with like Prada head to toe. They are someone who is at Nobu or a CEO or driving the best cars because they are at the apex, and they value tradition. They value success more than anything. They value their goals being attained. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, Aquarius. Aquarius is I believe the last air sign, and it is ruled by Saturn as well. And this sign is the sign of the humanitarian. I feel like they are the rebel humanitarian. They're more like, if you were to see them at the party, kind of like Scorpio, but not really. They are exactly like Scorpio, but Scorpio cares about themselves, whereas Aquarius is still brooding, still mysterious, still a rebel, but they care about humanity, right? Like their energy is turned outward, while at the same time they want to be an individual in the collective. Like they don't want to be a part of the collective. They don't want to merge with the collective. They want to be separate from the collective, helping them. So that's Aquarius. Aquarius energy is known to be very futuristic in thinking, very innovative, very rebellious, kind of a loner. But a loner not because they want to be alone, but they're a loner because they are such an individual and value individuality and their expression, that they don't want to be influenced by the collective because they're there to help the collective, thus making them a loner. So that is Aquarius. Aquarius is also ruled by Uranus. So because they are such an individual, they are so ahead of the curve. Like they are usually the leaders in the sense that like they're a rebel, they're a leader, and because they're ruled by Uranus, it gives them that far out thinking that gives them the ability to help the world, if that makes sense. Like they are the leaders, like they are like Steve Jobs types of figures, because Uranus rules technology, Aquarius kind of rules technology as well. So if you think about it, Steve Jobs was kind of like an oddball, right? But what he brought to the table was so futuristic in thinking that it led us all. You see what I'm saying? That's Aquarius energy, is Steve Jobs types of figures. And Pisces. Okay, so moving on to the last sign of the zodiac, it is Pisces. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and it is the most spiritual sign of the zodiac. This is the last sign because they say that once you get to Pisces, it is a soul that has gone through all the signs that we have just named, and they are on their way out of the karmic wheel. So if they are able to learn all the lessons and undo all the karma from the 12 signs that they've acquired, they are being given and granted the permission and the privilege to exit the karmic wheel, and they will then have the choice to come back and do it all the way over again from Aries onward. But this makes them very spiritual, and they can feel it. They can feel like they're on their way out of the karmic wheel. So it's like when you're in school, in high school, and you know how in high school you're in 12th grade, and so you're just checked out, you're over it. You're like, I've done all the grades before this, I'm over it. Like, and so you just kind of sleep in, right? You sleep in, your head is not in the curriculum anymore, you're done. And the teachers also kind of give you that privilege because they know you're on your last year anyway. They know that you're focusing on university. They know that, like, you know, they just know. So they grant you permission, right? They're like, we're just going through the motions. That's Pisces. Pisces is going through the motions in the university that is the universe. They're here, but they're not here. They're checked out because their soul is tired. It's very old. They've learned all the lessons, but they're here to just undo that last little bit of karma. They're here to pay back the debts. They're here to give back the like they're here to turn in their books. They're here to, that's what they're here for. They're here to undo that last little bit, and that's why their brains are they're gone. They've done it. They're ready to go. So, a Pisces ascendant will usually be someone who you'll see that is like super spiritual. They're probably smoking weed in the corner. They're probably like lighting it up. They're probably sleeping all day. They are probably very creative in a positive sense. Like the traits I just named are maybe like the shadow side of Pisces. But the good traits of Pisces are more just like they are creative, they're musical, they're very artistic, they are very dreamy, they have a very dreamy presence. They probably look like angels. They look like if you were to reach out and grab them, that they would just be like a hologram, if that makes sense. They're just so angelic. It's almost like they don't exist. And because they're ruled by Neptune and Jupiter, they are just they're very lucky, they're very blessed, they're very dreamy. It's almost like they're not real. They're literal walking angels. So like, there's good and there's bad to that as well, because although they are a literal walking angel and miracles on the planet, they're not here. They're not here. So, but they mean the best. They're such pure souls, and they're just waiting on their time to be out, because they've done it already. They're done. So if you ever see Pisces in the first house, they will have very angelic qualities. They will be very artistic. They will be very they'll be very checked out. They'll be all about weed, all about spirit. They're just like, why go to work when I can just like be one with the universe? Like, that is Pisces ascendant, or Pisces in the first house. Yeah, so that was my first house ascendant through the signs video. We went through 1 through 12. And I want you guys to guess what my first house ascendant is in the whole sign chart. We're not gonna go to classes. Whole sign chart, what do I come off as? Am I a Cancer? Am I a Leo? Am I a Pisces? Am I a Virgo? What do you think by first impressions do you get? And let's just test it out. But if you guys have any questions or any other videos that you want me to do, just drop it below and I will be rolling out videos periodically. My name is Jupiter James, and I will see y'all on the flip side. Have a good day.